Good afternoon. This is Ken Kirschenbaum. Thanks for joining us. As you know, we've been putting on a number of informative webinars, and today I'm very happy to host this webinar by Sedona Office, which is hopefully well known to all of you as the premier alarm security office management program company. We've devoted the entire webinar to Sedona Office, and the presentation is going to be by one of the co-founders of Sedona Office, Michael Marks. And one of the main thing I guess he's going to be doing is introducing their latest product, which is AlarmBiller, which I assume the title speaks for itself. But you're going to be getting a detailed presentation from Michael, and I'm going to unmute him in just a moment. I just want to remind you all that we have another webinar coming up shortly, which is announced in the emails that I send out, that I'm sure all of you get. That's going to be on October 2nd. That's going to be from our labor and employment lawyer in our office, former Judge Ruth Kraft, and it's going to be an interesting topic. And we do have another interesting webinar scheduled in December, which is going to be presented by a fire alarm company that's going to discuss fire alarm issues, which is going to be another well presented webinar, I'm sure. So without any further ado, I want to introduce Michael Marks. I'm going to unmute him. Michael, you are unmuted, and everyone can now hear you. And it's all yours.
Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate the opportunity today to talk about Perennial Software and AlarmBiller. And so without any further ado, we'll get going. Before I do that, though, I do want to give a big thank you to Eileen in your office, Ken. Eileen was very helpful in helping us get the presentation all online, and I just want to say thank you, Eileen. We really appreciate all the help that you provided us as we did this. So let's move to the next slide, please. So today we're going to talk about AlarmBiller. And as Ken mentioned, my name is Michael Marks, and I am the co-founder of Perennial Software. And we could go to the next slide, please. Perennial Software, we created a product called Sedona Office. And it's widely known throughout the security industry. The security industry is the only industry that we sell and market Sedona Office to. So we're a very specialty software company. Our company was founded in 1996 by myself and Don Fabric. We are the two owners of the company today, and we're both very hands-on and active in the business. Today, Sedona Office is used by over 350 of the largest security organizations throughout North America. So most of our clients, 99%, are in the United States and Canada. We do have Jamaica, some in the Caribbean, and one client even in the UK. Today, over 70 SDM 100 companies operate Sedona Office. And the following is a very interesting stat. We had Michael Barnes, who I'm sure most people know of, as our keynote at our users conference back in January of this year. And Michael does a very extensive study in conjunction with SDM Magazine on the security industry. And Michael did a study comparing the Sedona Office customers to the industry from 2008 to 2012, a 5-year study. And what we came up with, and what Michael came up with, is the Sedona Office customers grew their companies 1.9 times faster than the industry as a whole. And really, when I say grew their companies, I mean their RMR. So the RMR growth of Sedona Office customers as a whole grew almost 2 times faster than the industry. And so we're very, very pleased with that. But let's talk about AlarmBiller. So let's move to the next slide, please. And I'm going to describe AlarmBiller, as you can see, in 67 words. So what is AlarmBiller? AlarmBiller is a web-based software-as-a-service application to run and operate a security dealer. AlarmBiller is a complete management solution that tracks all your customers' data, their invoices, credit cards, or e-checks, credits, payments, the sites, systems, recurring revenue, work orders, which could be used for both installations, service, and inspections. It does estimating and proposals. Simply stated, AlarmBiller allows you to easily manage your entire customer base like never before. But that's not all, and that's the good news. There's a lot more to AlarmBiller, which we'll explore in just a bit. But first, let's move to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about the security industry. Now, this is an estimate that the source is Perennial Software, so we used market data that we had from trade magazines, industry research, attending industry conferences. But if you look at the security alarm industry, ADT Tyco, now two companies, represents 40% of the market share. If you take the next 50 companies, they represent approximately 10% of the security industry. And then if you take the next 700 companies, it takes those 700 companies to come up with the next 10% of the market share, leaving approximately 15,000 companies. Now, I've debated this and talked to many people about this. Some people say it's 12,000. Other people will say it's 25,000. So we're just roughing it when we say 15,000 companies. But they make up 40% of the market share, meaning the small to mid-sized security companies in total are just as large as ADT Tyco. It shows you how fragmented the security industry is. So let's move to the next slide. Next slide, please. There you go. So if we look at Sedona Office, Sedona Office is really geared for the top 750 companies in the industry. That's who we're selling Sedona Office to. As an enterprise-level financial accounting application, it's really not designed for all size companies. And over 50% of these companies are currently using Sedona Office. That's quite an accomplishment. But what we've found is that, and we get calls every day, that there's a need for the smaller companies. So let's move to the next slide. And that's where AlarmBiller comes into play. AlarmBiller was specifically designed for the smaller to mid-size alarm dealer. So it's ideal for a company that is just starting, that maybe has as low as 25 to 50 accounts, all the way up to companies that have thousands of accounts, 1,000, 2,000, 2,500. Typically what we see working with security companies is once companies hit that 2,000 accounts to 2,500, that's when they're really ready to move into an application like Sedona Office. So let's talk about AlarmBiller. So next slide, please. So let's talk about what AlarmBiller does. And this slide shows the different capabilities of AlarmBiller. And it's not inclusive of these, but these are some of the highlights. So first, it's a customer management portal to manage all of your customers. It's going to handle and manage all the invoicing and credits for your customers. It also handles all of the recurring revenue. So all the recurring revenue that you're going to have for your customers, for their sites, for the systems that you're providing services for, it does all the billing automatically for you. And we'll talk about this in a little more detail in just a moment. It also does automatic email and auto printing. And I'm going to go into this a little further in a moment. But you can automatically deliver invoices, credits, work orders, estimates via email automatically to your customers and prospects. AlarmBiller also handles all of your payment processing, including fully integrated credit card and e-check processing. In terms of the recurring revenue, it also has an in-depth RMR attrition management system. And what we mean by that is the ability to track your recurring revenue, to be able to report on your recurring revenue, as well as all the changes to your recurring revenue. So we can tell you exactly what your recurring revenue was at the beginning of the month, what it was at the end of the month, for all the different service charges you charge, whether it's monitoring services, opening and closing, radio backup, and so on, but also tell you why the recurring revenues changed, what's from new accounts, takeovers, cancellations, and so on. AlarmBiller also does all your estimates and proposals. It does all your work orders and service and installation management. There's also a complete scheduling calendar system with it. It does the part tracking of all the parts installed on customers, right down to the system level, whether it's a burglar alarm, fire alarm, access control, and so on. There's a complete report management utility to run reports, to get all the information out of it. There's also, and this is coming very soon, but there's central station integration. So right through the AlarmBiller portal, we are integrating with most of the leading third-party central stations, so you can see the alarm central station data right through the AlarmBiller web portal. And I'll talk a little bit about this as well. Next slide, please. So one of the first questions that everyone asks is, what do I need to use AlarmBiller? Well, here's the beauty. All you need to have is internet access. You could run it from any device, a PC, laptop, iPad, Droid tablet, Surface, Nook, anything that's going to run a browser, you could run it. And you could run any browser. Obviously, the major ones, IE, Chrome, Safari, but any internet browser can run AlarmBiller. Next slide, please. So what else does AlarmBiller have? So it also has a calendaring system to track your sales, installations, service, and personal appointments. So there's a built-in calendaring system where you could schedule all of your service calls for all of your technicians. You could create your own personal appointments for reminders to call a customer back. You could create appointments for your salespeople. So a full calendaring system built into the application. It also has customer signature capture throughout the application for work orders and proposals. And the nice thing about AlarmBiller is salespeople can carry an iPad in the field, create proposals, right down to having the customer sign that proposal. We also have the ability for proposals to add attachments to it. So it's the perfect place to add one of Ken's alarm contracts, so you could do contract delivery and signature capture right through the application. Additionally, work orders for your service technicians, they can carry an iPad as well, right down to doing all their work remotely for a service call, right down to the point of capturing the customer signature and taking a payment. And I'll take a look at that in just a moment. So that goes right into the next point, which is the ability to take credit card and e-check payments from the field. An e-check is an ACH payment. So right through AlarmBiller, you can do both credit cards and e-check payments. There's also a complete set of library of reports. We've also built in an online support system. So when you have a question when you're using AlarmBiller, how do you do something? Maybe there's an issue. Instead of having to pick up the phone, send in an email, you literally just click a button, you create an online support ticket, it's in your support queue, it's automatically delivered to us, so it's a very easy and fast and efficient way to do support. Additionally, we have built in QuickBooks integration. AlarmBiller is not the back-end general ledger, it's really the customer management. QuickBooks is a really nice financial application for small businesses and ideal for integrating with AlarmBiller. We have also built a data import utility. So if you already have a customer base of 100 accounts, 500, 1,000, and you don't feel like re-entering all your data, we have a very simple to use Excel spreadsheet where you put your data in, and then you use our data import utility, and it adds all your customers directly into AlarmBiller. And coming soon, within the next month or two, we will be releasing the customer web portal. The customer web portal is the portal that allows your customers to log in online and be able to view their invoices, add credit cards or e-checks to their account, sign up for auto payments, as well as view any of their open work orders, view and create a new service request, as well as if you're going to use it for the proposals, you'll be able to deliver proposals and estimates to the customers right through the web portal as well. So we're real excited about that, and again, that's just about just a couple months away from being released. So let's move on to the next slide, please. So let's talk invoice delivery. What we've done with AlarmBiller is we wanted to make the delivery of invoices very easy. So you have the option for any customer to select them and say, how do you want their invoices delivered? And you can choose email, mail, or print. Now with the email delivery method, invoices are delivered directly to your customers via an email. The invoice is attached to the email as a PDF. Very simple. Again, nothing you have to do. It just automatically delivers the email. You could even redeliver an email invoice at any time. The mail option we're very excited about. With the mail option, we mail and deliver the invoice directly to your customers via the United States Postal Service. There's nothing you need to do. We print and mail your invoices on your behalf. There's a return envelope, and the invoices and the payments get returned back to you. All you have to do is set the customer up, and boom, the invoice is going to be mailed. Nothing you have to do. The third option is your standard print delivery method, where you print and deliver the invoices on your own. So it gives you nice flexibility depending on how you want to manage it. Email, mail, or print. So let's go to the next slide, please. So before we go into the application and take a further look, I just want to go through a few different things just so you know. But signing up for AlarmBiller is very easy. All you have to do is go to our website, www.alarmbiller.com, and click on the free trial offer. If you sign up today and try AlarmBiller, there will be no charge through November. So what we're giving you is the rest of September, October, and November to set up, start using the software, and to beginning to understand how to use it. So we'll help you set it up, we'll help you learn it, and there's great information on our website to help you do that. All you need to do is just enter in Ken in the How Did I Hear About AlarmBiller text box when you sign up to get those free months of service. Now, best of all, if you don't like it, you owe nothing. You could cancel AlarmBiller at any time. Why do we offer this guarantee? Simply because we are so confident that once you use AlarmBiller, you won't want to stop using it. So let's move on to the next slide and start taking a look. So the first thing everyone asks is AlarmBiller easy to set up? And the answer is yes. There is, what you're seeing now are some screenshots from the web portal itself. This is the setup area. And the nice thing is AlarmBiller comes pre-configured, so all you have to do is set up your company information and you're ready to go. Literally within an hour of setting it up, you could be processing transactions. It's really that easy. So let's move to the next slide. So this is the home page when you first log in. And you'll notice it's very easy to navigate AlarmBiller. The top toolbar in the center, where you see customer, invoices, payments, work orders, estimates, calendar, reports, and setup, that's your main toolbar option that's going to take you to the different areas within the application. There's also, to the far right of there, you'll see a customer search. The customer search allows you to do a very quick search on a customer name or a customer number without having to go drill into the customers. So if a customer calls up, all you have to do, type in their name, you type in Michael, it would bring up every customer with Michael in their name, and click on the one you want to open up. You'll also notice on the home page there are different sections within there. We call these widgets. And you'll be able to configure your widgets to what you want. So the screen that I'm showing right now, the widgets that we're showing is, one is the top 10 customers AR. So this is showing the customers who owe the most money and looking at that. On the right, it's a notification section. And that's just telling me what's going on within the application. If there's any credit cards to process, e-checks to process, any errors in the transaction processing that need to be resolved, how many open work orders, open appointments, my next recurring invoices to process. So you can see mine's October 2013 here, and what's your accounting lockdown date. And then on the bottom right, you'll see that we have open receivables, and that's just giving us a quick snapshot of how much money our customers owe us. So it's very nice. You could get real quick access to information when you first log in. And again, you'll be able to customize and pick and choose to a library of these widgets. So let's move on to the next slide, please. So let's talk about managing a customer. So this picture, this screenshot shows a customer within AlarmBiller. And what we wanted to do is make it so when you go into a customer, you can access any information about that customer in a click or two. So you'll notice when the customer first opens, I can see the customer's name and address in the top left, their phone number, email. And if I needed to send them an email, you just click on the email address. So one clicks throughout the whole application. The middle area will tell us a little snapshot of this customer, if their status, the salesperson, their default terms, their delivery method for invoices. So you notice this customer set up for email, so any new invoices, credits that we create for them will automatically be emailed, nothing else that we need to do for that. And then in the far right side, it just gives me a quick snapshot of what's their current balance, how many open invoices they have, if they have any open credits, and if they have any unapplied cash. Unapplied cash is just a payment on account that we haven't applied to an invoice. An unapplied cash item could be an advance deposit for a job or just an overpayment the customer made. And then you'll also notice we display the total RMR. That's how much recurring monthly revenue we generate from this customer. Now, under the tabs underneath that, you'll see invoices, credits, sites and systems, RMR, work orders, estimates, payments, credit cards and e-checks, and notes. And I don't have it on this screen, but we're just releasing today or tomorrow a new tab that says Documents. So real quick, I'll just explain each one of these tabs. Invoices would show you all the open invoices for the customer. All the columns could be sorted just by clicking on them. And to drill into an invoice, you just click the View button to the right. If I wanted to see the paid invoices, all I do is on the top right, if you notice right underneath the New Invoice button, it says Show All Invoices. You click that, and you could see any invoice in the complete history of all invoices for this customer. If you needed to create a miscellaneous invoice for this customer, you just click New Invoice, and it would open up a new form to create a new invoice for the customer. Now, the Credits tab will show only open credits. Sites and Systems will display all the locations where you provide services for this customer. So a customer could have one site, that's a location you provide service, or multiple sites if you're providing services at multiple locations. Underneath each site is then the systems, which could be a burglar alarm, fire alarm, access control, CCTV, and that's all the systems that you're providing services for. And within each system is where we define their parts, their warranty levels, their service contracts, their recurring revenue. Also, if I want to see all their customers' RMR, just click the next tab, which is the RMR, and that would display all the RMR for the customer. Work orders would display any of the work orders, service tickets, or installations that you're doing for this customer. Estimates are any proposals or estimates you created for this customer. Payments is the list of all the payments you've received from this customer, whether it came in through a check, credit card or e-check transaction. The credit card e-check tab will display all the credit cards or e-checks that are currently set up for this customer, as well as allowing you to define any of those credit cards or e-checks for auto payment. Notes are just that, notes. And then the new tab, Documents, will allow you to store any type of document you want, a PDF, a Word file, an Excel file, a CAD drawing. So anything that you could store electronically, you can make it into a document, and you'll have fast, easy retrieval. It really becomes your electronic file system for your customers. So let's move on to the next slide. And by the way, throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, we'll try to answer any of those at the end if there's time. If not, we'll get back to you. So just go ahead and fill out your questions on your GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll see what we can do to get back to you on those. But let's real quick take a look at the email and the invoice. So this next slide just shows you what it's going to look like when you send an email to a customer with an invoice. You'll notice that there's a logo within there, so you're able to brand the site with your own logos, so that when the invoice, the email comes in, you're going to have your logo bright and center. There's the text saying that there's a new invoice. There's an email address for them to respond to, telephone number, as well as there's a PDF attached. You click on the PDF, and then you'll see the invoice within there. And we've designed a really professional invoice that fits right into the return envelopes, has all the information right down to the site locations, does all the sales tax for you as well as you can include contact information right on the invoice, from email addresses to central station phone number, sales, service, and billing questions. So it produces a really nice invoice. And this is the email method. If you use the mail method, the invoice would just be mailed, looks identical. And if you do the print method and you deliver it yourself, obviously you'll print it in-house and it looks just the same. So whether the customer gets the invoice via the email, mail, or print, it's identical. So let's move on to the next slide. And the next slide really shows us our work order. And so here we're showing a work order, and without going through all the processing, the work order really makes it simple to manage the whole process. A work order could be a service call, an installation, but we're going to track everything we need to do on that work order. All the appointments are being tracked. We have an appointment calendaring system. We're tracking the dispatching time for appointments, the time on site based on their arrival and their completion. We track the parts used. The work order, when completed, will automatically generate an invoice to the customer based upon their warranty or service level that's in effect. You can see that we have a customer signature in here where we could capture customer signature. And again, it's ideal when you're using an iPad in the field for your technicians to capture the customer signature, as well as you can take a credit card or e-check payment right from the field. And if the customer's not set up with a credit card or e-check, you could just set it up with just one click of a button and add that credit card or e-check right from the work order itself. When the work order is closed and completed, it will automatically create the invoice, send the invoice to the customer based upon your invoice delivery method, email, mail, or print, and automatically, if you said to use a credit card or e-check, process the credit card payment or the e-check, post it to the customer's account. And for some reason, if it doesn't go through because of an NSF or rejected credit card, it will obviously give you all the information so you know immediately what happened. So very easy to manage your work orders throughout the system. Now, the signature capture, I'm not going to show it today on the estimates, but works the same way, where you could have the signature capture just like that on your estimates as well. So let's move to the next slide, please. And this is talking a little bit about the recurring invoices. So if you're in the alarm industry, which I assume everyone here is, you probably really enjoy having recurring revenue. And what we've done through AlarmBiller is really made the invoicing of the recurring revenue a breeze. So here we're looking at the top slide is a customer's file, looking at their RMR. Recurring revenue can be set up to be billed monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, annual. You can, when it's time to generate the recurring invoices, you simply select the monthly period and the year you want to generate it for. And you'll notice on the right, it will give you a list of all the invoices it's going to generate. And you just click the Finish Processing Invoice button, and it will automatically then post the invoices to the customer's account. But it's doing more than that. If the customer is set up for auto payment, it will automatically transact the credit card or the e-check payment for the customer. You can even pick the day of the month you want that credit card or e-check to be processed. So you might send the October invoices out. Let's say it's like today, September 25th. We send the invoices out, but the customer doesn't want the e-check payment to go through to October 10th. That's fine. The system will automatically hold the transaction and then process it on October 10th. So one other thing I do want to talk about with the recurring is all of the RMR tracking. And I didn't mention that before, but it's a very important part. So not only are we tracking all the recurring, but we have all the tracking file to understand when we've added new recurring revenue, when we've canceled or partially canceled recurring revenue. We always track what the reason for that is, and that allows us to have very in-depth attrition management reports. So recurring, like I said, is a breeze with AlarmBiller. So let's move on to the next slide. And this talks about the auto payments. And this is where we're actually setting up a credit card, just showing you how easy it is to actually set up a credit card within a customer's account and setting up their auto processing and what day of the month. Now, what's also very important to know that AlarmBiller is a fully PCI compliant application. So all the credit card data, all the bank account data is actually not even stored within the AlarmBiller database. We're using what's called a tokenized method, so it's all stored within the credit card processor themselves. So it's very secure, it's safe, and it's PCI compliant. So you don't have to worry about going through any of the PCI compliant transactions or audits. The other thing is credit card payments not only can be used for recurring, but obviously they could be used for one-off transactions as well. So if a customer calls and would like to make a payment on account, you could easily do it either by a credit card or e-check, and you get instant notification whether that transaction has been approved or not. So let's move on to the next slide. And so all this sounds great, or at least I hope it sounds great to you, and you're asking, how do I learn more? And since our time is running out, and there's so much more to show you, what we'd like to do is invite you to our website to really gain more information. And for more information, just go to www.alarmbiller.com, or please feel free to give us a call at 855-5-BILLER. So please do either of those for any more questions. Please go to the next slide. So I'm sure this is what you're wondering, and usually this comes up at this point, how much does it cost? And here's the beauty of AlarmBiller. It's very, very reasonable. The application is based on a monthly fee, and it's based upon how many customers you have. You can have and set up as many users as you want. So where a lot of other applications charge by the user, we just have a set fee based upon your company size. So if you have 1 to 100 customers, it's $79.95 a month. Up to 250 customers, $129.95. Up to 500, $169.95. 1,000, $199.95. And if you're over 1,000 customers, it's real simple, just $229.95. And again, you can have 3 users, 10 users, excuse me, it doesn't matter. Now, there are a few additional fees. Each printed and mailed invoice, so if you do choose the mailing option, it's $1. So it costs you $1 to have your invoices mailed, and you'll be invoiced at the end of the month for all the invoices that you mailed that month. So you don't have to prepay the envelope fees, the postage, anything. At the end of the month, if you sent out 50 invoices, you'll be invoiced for 50. If you sent out 500, you'll be invoiced for 500. So when you look at the true cost of mailing an invoice, that $1 is a very reasonable price. And I just saw a notice this morning that the U.S. Postal Service has just requested another 3 cents increase for the price of a first-class stamp. Now, credit card and e-checks, there are additional fees for this. These will be billed directly through the merchant provider, our exclusive merchant provider. It's a company called Forte. And there is a monthly service fee of $13.50. Your e-check transaction fees, so for each ACH transaction, it's a flat 30 cents and $1.50 for a returned item. Your credit card fees for your MasterCard, Visa, Discover, for your qualified rate, it's 2.19%. Your debit cards are 1.89% plus 20 cents per transaction. These are really, really good and competitive fees. And Amex is optional, and it's approximately 3%. That will vary based upon Amex. They do have we can't control their fees. And Amex also charges an additional $8 per month, which would be invoiced directly from American Express itself. So let's go to the next slide, and this will be our last slide for today. And so please go ahead and start your free trial by going to www.alarmbiller.com or give us a call at 855-5BILLER. And just to let you know, AlarmBiller is also going to be made available through other resellers. And many central stations are going to be providing it. So a few of the different companies down there you can also contact for it. But there's Astute Financial, Security Partners, and Monitoring Partners, 2 different companies with partners in their name, are all reselling the product, as well as we're talking to about 10 other third-party central stations who have an interest in offering AlarmBiller direct to their dealers as well. So again, I want to thank everyone for listening to the presentation today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. I want to thank Ken and Eileen once again for allowing us this opportunity. And at this point, I guess, Ken and Eileen, if there's any questions, go ahead and answer. You could throw those out to us.
All right, Mike, first I want to thank you very much for a great presentation. We had a full house. We do have a few questions, and I'm going to present them to you. Just as an aside, well, 2 as an aside. First, thank you for using my name in your promotional, but everyone should know that, no, I'm not getting anything for it, which probably does surprise everybody. But this is just offered as an informational service that we're providing to the industry. 2, another interesting thing is that my office happens to be in the Roosevelt Field Garden City complex, and there was a shooting some time ago, and we have our front door locked, and I'm told SWAT is making its way through the building. So we might be disrupted that way if they get here in time. I hope it's not an alarm guy that went berserk. Anyway, Michael, here's a couple of questions that we have. Here's the first one. Can I send a manual invoice via email to the subscriber?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is what's called a redelivery option. And under that, you can just, if you want to, at any point in time, just send the customer an email. So you don't have to put them on automatic email delivery. It's really more of a manual process. But yes, you can just email them an invoice at any time.
Another question, will you have a portal for current Sedona office customers that are offering third-party billing hosted Sedona office to their dealers?
Yes. So if you are a Sedona Office customer and you do third-party billing and you would like to use AlarmBiller for that portal, just give me a call and I'll tell you, and I could go through and tell you all about that process.
Another question, do you have the ability to view the full credit card or checking account number for auto bill?
The answer to that is no, and that's because it's the PCI compliance rules. So PCI compliance rules states that you cannot see the full, if it's a regular credit card, 16-digit or American Express 15-digit number. Same thing with the account number. We do display the last 4 digits, but for security purposes and fraud protection, the answer is no. And technically, you're not allowed to even keep it on paper. So if you have a file and you keep that on paper somewhere, you got to really check with the PCI compliance rules because you're not supposed to be doing that anymore either. I know a lot of people do that, but to make sure we are PCI compliant, we do have to limit and restrict your ability to do that.
Well, those of you that are listening should be signing up for our labor and employment webinars where you'll learn all about the handbooks you're supposed to have and the red flag policies you're supposed to have in writing and adhere to, and that kind of stuff is covered there. Here's another question. Will there be email alerts such as Sedona Sync?
So we got some Sedona Office customers out there listening to this.
Probably waiting for a discount, Michael.
Yes, yes. The answer to that is there will be. We don't have that in there right now, but the answer is yes. That is going to be a future functionality. We have a lot of other future functionality pieces that we have targeted to do in the long term of this product. And if anyone is familiar with us with Sedona Office, you realize software is just a work in process. We're always adding new features and functionality. So as the great ideas come, we expect this product to grow just like Sedona Office has.
How does anyone become a reseller?
They need to contact us. So just give me a call. You could call me at the number above, or you could reach me at my email address, which is Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, and you could use either SedonaOffice.com or AlarmBiller.com.
And can you charge and report sales tax by county?
Yes. So there is full sales tax management, and we've done some really neat things with the sales tax. So sales tax is set up at the site level. So if you're doing a recurring invoice for a customer and they have 5 locations in 5 different taxing jurisdictions, it will actually automatically calculate the sales tax for each one of those sites individually. You could even set up different taxes by, like you said, by the county level, state levels. You even have the ability to override sales taxes right down to the line item level within an invoice. So very, very powerful sales tax features as well as full sales tax reporting features.
Are there different levels of access for employees?
Yes, great question. Thank you for asking that one. So when you set up a user, you have different options for them, and there's complete documentation on this. But you could set them up as a administrator, which is someone who would have full access to set up and do everything. There's a manager access. There's a user access. There's a technician access, which really is designed for your technicians in the field. Very limited functionality, but everything for the work orders, as well as the ability to have a salesperson access level. And the salesperson access level is really designed for just the salesperson who's going to be creating estimates and proposals.
Can employees use this program to time in and time out from the field, like a time clock for payroll?
It's not a time and attendance system, so at this time, no, that's not an option. Again, that is one of the things that we're looking at down the road, but day one, no.
The next question is software installed on network? I guess they want to know, is it a network system or a cloud-based system?
This is a software as a service, as I said originally. So this is 100% cloud-based. There is no installation of software that needs to be done. It's all being run and operated through the Internet. It's 100% web-based.
And this one, can they use their own credit card processor?
No. You have to use the credit card processor that's built into the application. And that's a very good question. And the reason why we did it that way, Ken, is a couple things. One is we wanted to make sure that we maintained all the PCI compliance rules. Number two is we built really advanced functionality in terms of creating credit cards, processing credit cards, submitting them, reconciling them. And so what we had to do to really have that level of functionality is choose one processor, because if we had it open to every processor, the cost to maintain it and support it would be outrageous and would literally double or triple the price that we would have to charge. So that's the reason why we did that. But what we wanted to make sure we have is great rates. And the rates that we have negotiated for the customers of AlarmBiller are probably better than any company could go off and get individually, because they're pooling the rates based upon all the customers, as well as they're also looking at the Sedona office customers. So it's a great pooling to really bring those rates down.
Okay. How easy is it to integrate this program with QuickBooks if you're currently using QuickBooks and their merchant services?
Well, you would have to switch to the to our merchant service for the AlarmBiller portion. And like I said, we have the QuickBooks integration module. So using QuickBooks with AlarmBiller is highly recommended, and it integrates very well and very fast.
Okay, and will there be integration to Sedona Office developed?
Great question. At this time, there is not. We look at this as you'd be using one or the other. So if somebody was using AlarmBiller and they got to a point where they say, we're ready to move to a full enterprise level application, we have a migration path from AlarmBiller to Sedona Office, but we don't have, at this point, an integration between them. If that's something that our users come back to us and ask for and would like, that is something that we could talk about in the future.
So this next question, I think you've just answered it. Does AlarmBiller's site explain how this software works in conjunction with Sedona Office, and it actually does not work in conjunction?
It doesn't work in conjunction. Right, it's one or the other.
Okay. Along with e-contract feature, is there a future link to run credit and deed checks on a new sales lead?
That is something we are actually preliminary talking to some providers of that service. So that question has come up before. We haven't done anything at this point with credit checks and getting the credit score, but it is something we are planning to look into sometime in the future.
All right. Can emails be sent to customer from our email address instead of AlarmBiller email?
Great question. Thank you for asking that one. Yes, you set up your own email account. So when your clients receive emails, it is not from AlarmBiller. It is from your email address that you establish. As well as each company will have a branded web portal that will have your name in it. So if your security company was, let's call it Acme Alarms, your web portal will be acmealarms.alarmbiller.com. So everything's branded for your company. Your clients really won't know of AlarmBiller per se.
Will there be import and export options?
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, there will be a complete import utility to import your customers into AlarmBiller. We currently do not have an export feature, but that is something we have on the table from a development. We are creating a complete API tool set that will allow you to first, it will have the ability to integrate other applications and push data in, as well as to pull data out from AlarmBiller. But that is something that probably won't be available till, I would say, sometime mid next year.
How long has AlarmBiller in its current form been used by alarm companies?
It's relatively new, so we're only about 2 or 3 months out there right now. And
okay.
I will tell you, though, that the company's using it. We're getting great feedback, and it's going very well. So we're very, very excited. This product's been under development now for over 2 years. It's a whole new development staff. So we have separated. We didn't want to take away from our abilities from our Sedona office customers. So it's a whole new development staff, and it's just been going great, and we couldn't be more pleased.
Does the program allow you to schedule install and service calls to text?
Yes. There's a complete calendaring system within AlarmBiller that you can create appointments for your technicians, for service calls, for work orders. You'll be able to create appointments for your salespeople, for going off on sales calls. You could even use it to create your own appointments and reminders. So if you need to follow up with a customer next Tuesday, you just create a reminder for yourself or an appointment, and it will automatically remind you of that as well.
Your credit card processor must be listening, because the next question is, can I eliminate my credit card processor? I guess the answer is, if you want to go through AlarmBiller, you'll be using the credit card processor that the program uses.
That's correct.
Right. Is QuickBooks Online required for QuickBooks integration?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. It's not required. Right now, the integration we're doing is with the standard version of QuickBooks, which is you run yourself. I don't know if the QuickBooks Online will allow an import file as well. I would assume that it does, and as long as it does, you would be able to use that version as well. But that's something we could find out for you.
Okay, and we understand it's a cloud-based software, but can we still restrict our employees to a certain IP address so they can only access it from, by the way, SWAT's here, so they're going through my office. So they can only access it from office or allowed locations, restricted access from certain IP addresses.
I don't know if that's capable or not, but that is something I could check with our IT staff and our IT team to see if that's something that can be added to it.
I'll go through my bathroom. Okay, how is the data backed up?
Oh, very, very good question. So every company's data is actually stored within its own SQL database, and therefore there's very heavily security. This is a very tightly designed application. But what's important about that to know is there's no commingling of data. We're hosting this in a very secured data center, and we have precautions where we are on redundant servers with mirror drives using very advanced RAID technologies, as well as off-site backups in 2 different locations. So we're taking very, very high-end precautions, both from a high availability and data redundant and backup features.
We have a lot of questions here. Just one second. Will you have a portal? No, you already asked that one. Just one second, everybody. We're just trying to coordinate all these, make sure we got to all the questions before we let you go.
Once again, thank you very much.
Has access to our client info. Was that asked yet?
I'm sorry, you got cut off there. Can you repeat that?
Who has access to client info?
We have a privacy policy. and it clearly states that we do not have access to your customer information. It is yours. The alarm company owns their data. It's your data. It is not used for any other marketing purposes, shared with anybody else. So it's yours, and it's properly protected in that manner.
Yeah. Okay, Michael. I think you've been grilled enough. How's that?
Great. Please share with me any of the questions, and I will get back to anybody also to make sure we got everything.
I think we've covered all the questions that we have. And is there a way to customize the work order so that pricing doesn't show on the service ticket, only on the invoice?
It's a good question. I don't know if that's a feature right now, but that's a great point, and it's probably something we could look at doing.
Okay. I think we reached the end of our questions and the end of our time. How's that? So I want to thank everybody for participating and listening, and we had a great group. And I want to thank Michael for his presentation, and I hope everybody benefits from the use. Actually, I have one question, and probably you did answer it, and I just got distracted. In 30 seconds or less, can you just compare AlarmBiller to Sedona Office, just so that I understand the difference?
Sure. So if you remember that pyramid I showed you earlier, where Sedona Office sits really for the top 750 companies, and AlarmBiller is really going after the bigger market. There's a few different differences. One is Sedona Office is a complete client-server application. It's also a full financial accounting, general ledger, accounts payable, inventory, high-end functionality in its job management processing. So the functionality within Sedona Office is far greater than what it's in AlarmBiller, and really designed for enterprise-level use. So with Sedona Office, we have companies that have 5 users, but we have clients who have 50, 100, 250 users running and operating. So it's really scalable to multiple offices. Where AlarmBiller is really the customer management side only. It's not the full general ledger. It interfaces general ledger. That's why we interface with QuickBooks. So it doesn't have all the features of it. But the price point of AlarmBiller and Sedona Office are night and day. You know, Sedona Office is quite a lot more money than AlarmBiller to get into and to set it up and to use. So they're really designed for 2 different things. And
a company wouldn't use both, obviously. They would have one or the other.
You would have one or the other. That's correct.
Okay, great. By the way, this webinar is one that was recorded and will be available if you want to listen to it again. You can contact Erica Youngman in my office, who's an attorney in our office, and she's at extension 308 if you need to order this. And we will soon be advertising it, as you will, on the emails and our website, where we will be posting all of the webinars that we've had and were recorded, so that you'll be able to get to them and listen to them again if you want to. So again, thanks everybody, and I'm going